fridge. Sorry about that. I'm gonna read a couple lines from this poem. Dried maple and ash bark, lush emerald flats, the fall-colored arena hark, the wide superior mats. The valley's peak encircled my life. The open space speaks. Let me end the strife.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Happy to see a decent crowd here. So last, Wednesday and Friday in live stream, I was on like a little fishing trip. Went really well. Got the winter white off. Got the olive skin back. I left the basement lights off. I don't know. I'm just kind of vibing in the dark. Kind of like it. So today, we're going to talk about a lot of what happened last week. I do apologize. I was gone. Of course, I'm gone during a basically a deviated move that ended up turning around and heading back into the, our consolidation channel. But we're going to cover that. We're going to cover everything. First things first. What's up, Brandon? Dorian? Nice to see you. Do not like to see you. Colin, what's up, dude? I'm doing good. Yeah, everything's good. No issues on my end. Yeah, really healthy, really. I mean, I was sick a couple weeks ago, now I'm not. And that like sickness, it like lingers around, right? It sucks. All right, let's get into this. Probably be a little quicker on the stock and dollar stuff, but when we get into like all the crypto stuff, I'm really excited to talk about all that. So, S&P, more or less, guys, just consolidating. A couple weeks ago, everyone was freaking out, saying like, oh, it's the end, it's the end. Guys, we moved up, 30% in 6 months on the SPX. That's like Bitcoin doing a 200% move. You need to have a period that you can correct, consolidate, and continue trend. I mean, there's literally nothing on this chart that says this uptrend is over. We don't have bearish divergences. We don't have exhaustion. And I know that there are some fundamentals that you could be bearish about, but there's also a lot of fundamentals we could be bullish about. And considering that there's no TA that is truly bearish. Now, if we get another high and we start creating bearish divergence, then we can talk about, the possibility that trend is exhausting, that, or maybe we need a much longer consolidative move to continue higher. Again, all that's right and fair, but in the current trend, all this is correction. We've been saying that for weeks, right? Oh, the Fox, I didn't even see your message. Your message didn't come through. What's up, Fox? How you doing? How's it going? I don't know. Sometimes like messages don't come through. It's really weird. But overall, at some point, and I know I've said this in live streams in the past, several weeks ago, when we were here, I said, guys, and I was drawing on the chart, like I would not be surprised if we did something like this, right? Where we correct or maybe retest prior all-time highs and confirm that prior resistance is now future support. Always talking about correction. I know I've got tweets about it. Again, we'll talk about it with Bitcoin, but so far, guys, I would expect this to kind of bull flag out and continue higher, similar to something down here. But overall, still really, really, really bullish. Not really seeing any issues. We've recovered, pretty much all of our drop. We're almost 2% off highs again. Everything looks really, really strong. Let's look at the DXY. So the DXY last week, excuse me, DXY last week ended in support, kind of bouncing. Would not surprise me, we bounced around and headed lower. Ultimately, guys, I'm not super concerned about the DXY. I think we're going to range here and eventually break out in the next couple years. We know that there are issues with, the economy and debt and all this, and plus, every 10 or so years, and let me put this in log form. Every 10 or so years, there's also a much larger market correction, much longer period of, that's NASDAQ, sorry. There's always this like cycle with the S&P. So you'll have like a 10-year uptrend, right? 10-year uptrend, 74 to almost 2000. So like 15, it's like 25 years, excuse me. Well, I guess we broke highs here in 1980. So you break here, break highs. I mean, this is a big range. We range from, what is this? Oh, this is 66 all the way to, really we didn't break out till 83. So almost a 20-year long consolidation and a much larger uptrend from bottom to top. You could say 74 to 2000 if you want to say when we break and became, in that bull market, 83 to 2000. So about 17 to 20 years. Then we move sideways from about 2000 to almost 2009, and we bottom in 2009. Now we break highs in 2013. Again, depending on the way you look at it, but from 2009 to now, you're talking about 15, 16 years. We're approaching that kind of stage where we need to level out. If this was a 15-minute time frame, now again, a lot of people don't look at it this way, but if you're looking at this and this is a 15-minute time frame, all is fair, right? You get overextended, move sideways, consolidate, make a bull flag, break out, consolidate, and continue upwards. I don't think we're going to have some kind of systemic crash where we see like a 3600 SPX. What I think will happen is we're in this kind of last leg of the 15 to 20 year long bull run. We head up to maybe 75, 76 and maybe come back down, to 34, 35, 36. Again, that's what, a 50% retracement? I mean, that's a pretty large event. Even with COVID, I don't think we even dropped 50%. I think we dropped like 30, 35%. So, 30% drop from 7,500, you're talking about 52, and maybe we range for a couple years, right, and then continue up from there. Again, all is fair if you're just looking at it in a technical way, without getting too specific about how liquidity shifts in our economy. Now, there's always the argument that we could just go up forever because our politicians are corrupt and they're going to print money forever. But I'm not too sure. I still stick with the cyclical pattern. I think that eventually all of these negative things that are happening in the economy, like the debt issue specifically, that is going to need to be answered. Plus inflation, at some point inflation is going to need to be answered. These high interest rates are going to need to be answered. And during that period, it's almost like a reset. Now, people think the Great Reset, I know I'm moving a lot here. People think the Great Reset will be like this. I don't believe so. I don't think it'll be like that. I think it'll be, maybe we go 7 to 8K. Let's just say we go to 8K for reference. I think we do this, 5, 6, 7 years, and we get a reset. Inflation, maybe debt, probably not, but inflation, interest rates, housing, everything gets that reset, right? I mean, a consolidation period is a reset, regardless of the overall value. And we're I wouldn't say we're seeing it yet. And again, you won't see it. It'll take years to really form. I mean, you had a reset from really 97 all the way to 2009. It was almost 10 years, 12 years. Excuse me, those 12 years where the stock market didn't really do anything but just move sideways. So, more on that. Maybe we'll cover that in another live stream, but just giving you guys a little bit of my own insight, and especially on like why the DXY. I believe the DXY will continue higher. Now, if it doesn't, that's fine, right? If the DXY goes lower, that means everything continues to go up. Not too many issues with that. But we always need to keep in mind that this is up, consolidation, or correction, and is likely going to go up in the future, considering all of our fundamental issues. Let's move on. Just briefly, going to go over the total charts. A couple things I wanted to point out. If you guys look at... And actually, I'm going to use Bitcoin. We'll look at that in a second. But I'm going to use Bitcoin to total 2 and total 3. Excuse me. So if you look at Bitcoin and you look at total 2, I want you guys to see if you can notice something right off the bat. I'm going to remove... Let's remove all of this brush stroke stuff. I want to see if you guys can notice something real quick. Right? Last week, look at last week's candle on both with Bitcoin and total 2. Right? Regardless of how RSI looks, we know that there are bullish divergences on total 1, total 2, total 3, and Bitcoin. So ultimately, we are bullish. But we've been talking about this notion of an alt season coming soon. Well, here's your first sign of strength in a long time. Right? Bitcoin last week made a lower low. Total 2, and pretty much every other altcoin that has any strength at all made a higher low, right? Made a higher low from its recent low. Bitcoin made a lower low from its most recent low. That is a sign of strength accompanied by, and again, we're going to get into this, but Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum to Bitcoin, and overall just a lot of these alts having extremely bullish reversal patterns, right? Confirming extremely bullish levels of divergence. Let's go into total and total 2, total 3. So total 1, I mean, obviously this has got Bitcoin involved, so hence why we have the lower low. But we've now confirmed with this green candle these bullish divergences. These are going to have to sort themselves. So again, my belief, you either retest highs and make a double top, which again, I doubt, or we break out and continue to go higher. And maybe from that point, we start creating these bearish divergences here between these two highs. That is a big possibility, right? We haven't seen any bearish divergences, any sort of trend exhaustion. Really all we've seen is trend continuation from the bottom until now. Now you look at total 2, and yes, we do have those bullish divergences on RSI, but you also have, again, we created a higher low. Now I know to a lot of you like, oh, well, what does that mean? Well, there is a liquidity shift happening where alts are now starting to take over. I believe it'll happen this summer. I think altcoin should have a little, I don't want to call it alt season, but like alt session, where altcoins, and not every altcoin, but a lot of altcoins like Link, maybe Ethereum, ICP, especially a lot of these AI coins like Fetch, Tau, Solana will probably do pretty good. Digibyte will probably do pretty good. But a lot of these alts that have been showing bullish divergences, showing some strength in this uptrend, will likely continue to do very, very well. Fishing vlog I would watch. Oh man, I wish if I could get a huge audience and just go fishing all the time and make a bunch of money off of it, I would be 100% in. But I won't lie, I drink while I fish, so like now I'm just getting drunk and I don't know if that's good for like kids under 13 to watch. And you move into total 3 without Ethereum, and you can see it even more clearly, right? You have these bullish divergences. You have these higher lows being created. Also, if you go to the daily, especially on total 3, you have a pretty solid double bottom here. So I had shared this with the private analysis group this morning. Again, I'm sharing it here now. Just a reminder for those of you that are, look at the stuff from Twitter. Not everything that I share, I put on Twitter. A lot of it I put or keep in the, the private analysis group, or, I'll post it in my Discord. Not everything's paid, or I'll show it on my live stream. Not everything is on Twitter. And again, for that reason, I'm limited on how much I can put into a tweet. And also I'm limited on the verbiage and explanation. It's a lot easier for me to show you guys what I mean by being able to change the chart live and really and being able to draw, second of all, and foremost, answering any questions if you have them, right? Part of the private analysis group, you can ask questions at any point, right? Someone can write in a question and if they're like, hey, let's say this, what does it take to confirm a double bottom? Well, I'd say, hey, we all, very simple question. A lot of you know this, but just closing above, right? Getting a candle close and maybe a retest above that midpoint. So more on this kind of double bottom. I am a big fan of this. However, I don't like volume. Volume sucks, right? This could end up turning into a rejection, and then, maybe we consolidate longer. Before going up higher. But if we do get above, I guess, this weird looking circle or straight line, we'll even do this just to make it a little easier to read. If we get above this box, golden, and that confirms the double bottom. Again, you got a little bit of a resistance, I guess, support in here, kind of support breakdown here, retest here. Now it's going to act as resistance. So in my opinion, you break out of this area, maybe retest it in alts full send, right? Most altcoins have not done very well. You look at total 3 and compare it to Bitcoin, Ethereum, or even total 1, it has not done that well, right? We're still 50, almost, it's 42%, but almost 50% from all-time highs. You go to total 1 with Bitcoin and everything, especially Bitcoin in and of itself, and you're 25% from all-time highs. And if you look at recent highs, we were 10% off all-time highs? Total 3's most recent high was 30% from all-time highs. So there's been a delayed reaction from alts, and a lot of that has to do with this liquidity shift. For any of you that are new, essentially, you have a circle, right? Liquidity moves in a circle in crypto, right? First it goes Bitcoin, then it goes Ethereum, then it goes large cap alts, then it goes, low cap or small cap. I'll just put SM for small cap alts. Then usually sell off, everyone sells everything off into dollars, or I'll just put a dollar sign, right? And then back into Bitcoin. During this period is during this kind of sell off into dollars and back into Bitcoin, that's the bear market. What we're seeing right now is Bitcoin is trying to break highs, and I don't think we're fully moving into Ethereum yet. I think Bitcoin still has another high. I think a Bitcoin could go to 100 to 120K before that true liquidity shift happens. But you're having a minor liquidity shift into some of these alts that haven't moved. And that is evident by, and let's remove this and then we'll get into how it's evident and how to detect this. If you look at Bitcoin dominance, we actually have a trend exhaustion signal. And Bitcoin dominance have both been moving up together since the bottom. Since Bitcoin bottomed at 17K, Bitcoin dominance has been moving up with Bitcoin. That means that Bitcoin is taking control of the market. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it means that alts are not going to perform better than Bitcoin. It means that Bitcoin is going to perform better on the ups and the downs on the way to our quote unquote alt season. So now what you're seeing is actually an exhaustive move from Bitcoin dominance. And my theory is we come back down and we move up higher, continuing the bull run. This summer, you could talk about 3 or 4 months. Maybe we head lower and then higher from there. Again, maybe creating some bullish divergences along the way. But for now, we have 3 highs, right? High, lower highs, or equal highs even. Equal highs are also divergences with higher highs. So you're now starting to see some trend exhaustion, some real evidence of liquidity shift that's happening between Bitcoin to Ethereum to altcoins. Now, again, I don't think this is the true alt season. Alt season happens when you see a cataclysmic kind of, downturn in Bitcoin dominance. Now, a lot of the time this happens when everything is dumping, because think about it this way. And let's look at Bitcoin's chart. So if you look at Bitcoin's chart, when we have a massive downward move like this, that's not the true start of the bear market. This up here is profit taking, right? Everyone's taking profit, or the smart investors are taking profit. Everything dumps, and then they rotate it into altcoins, right? Into Ethereum, into Link, into Ajax, Solana, no matter what it is, right? So then that money gets rotated. Maybe Bitcoin starts to go up, but a lot of these altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin to exponentially, if that's the easiest way to say it. And you guys know this because in 2021, realistically, after we hit 40K, this was kind of the start of alt season, right? We kind of pumped upwards after that. Ethereum ran very hard during this point. We dumped pretty hard. Ethereum kind of captured highs, but during this whole point was kind of large cap and shitcoin season. So in my opinion, and I don't think we're fully starting alt season yet. I think we're kind of here, because we had an altcoin summer do very, very well there. Like Link moved from $2 to like $20 during this period. And if you look at where we're at now, we just had a flush out, right? A lot of profit taking happened. A lot of that money is going to rotate into altcoins like Ethereum, Link, some of these alts that haven't moved at all. Maybe even like something like CRV that's literally at its market bottom low, right? So lots of opportunity in altcoins. If you don't have any altcoins, now's a good time to buy or look for trades on alts, at least for the summer. All right, let's continue. So I really wanted to talk about this with Bitcoin. Just wanted to kind of put this side by side. So several weeks ago, like 8-9 weeks ago, I was in here doing live streams, telling you guys, hey, giving you reasons. Hey, we're starting to see exhaustion. We're starting to see, failure to maintain a strong uptrend. And again, a lot of that has to do with divergence. A lot of that had to do with price action here. And I can even open I guess this is from the 4 hour. So let's open up this 4 hour. We'll put them side by side. So not quite like, and again, it's a rough sketch, right? But pretty on point here. And we'll even open up divergences and everything just so you can really see what I'm talking about. So we had called out divergence, right? We have higher highs, higher lows, higher highs and lower highs on RSI and MACD. Usually if there's divergence on RSI, there's divergence on MACD. So I'm not going to open up MACD just for the sake of showing and making it cleaner. So then I said, hey, we're likely going to correct, right? Even says it in the tweet. We are likely going to correct. It would be a good idea to not buy. It would be a good idea to look for maybe alts when we do correct. Be prepared to buy a dip, right? Ethereum alts also at resistance for confluence. Be prepared to buy a dip, right? What did we end up getting? We ended up getting, I wouldn't say the fastest dip. Alts dipped way more than I thought they would. There were a couple altcoins I was waiting to buy when they did dip, and they did. And I'm still down again, portfolio-wise, I'm up a ton. But on these alts that I bought, I'm down like 5% on them. They're just now starting to recover and do well. But regardless, I got them way lower than they were at local highs when a lot of people were saying to buy. So my point is, and I'm not just trying to do this for ego purposes, right? Guys, when you log on Twitter and look at anyone's posts, or you go on YouTube and read or watch anything, right? And people are bullish and they're not giving you the reasons and they're not showing you on the chart. They're just saying, oh, we're bullish. Like, I'm bullish. Or maybe you open someone up and there are divergences and they talk about them and they say, oh, you should ignore them. Those aren't important. That is someone that doesn't have any idea what they're doing, right? If you are going to be a successful trader, you need to look at the chart unbiased. Were we going up? Yes. Were we going up at an exponential rate that I didn't think was going to happen? Yes. Right? The ETF got passed and we just shot to the moon, right? I mean, we went from $38,000 to $74,000 in like a month, right? I didn't think the ETF was going to send us up this quickly. However, it did. Caught me off guard. But my job moving forward is saying, hey, are we going to get a correction and where? And we had pointed out all of the different reasons, all the different divergences, the price action, right? This is a gigantic sell signal, this point, right? I mean, the tweet came out at the very top, literally here. So I'm not trying to just pat myself on the back, but what I'm doing is this is how my system works. You have to go and look at charts objectively and don't get sucked into the emotional bullshit. Because on the contrary, and I'm going to remove this now, you look at this weekly chart, and this is what I brought up for the last several weeks because everyone was saying the bull market's over. It's over. You're never going to make any money again. You know, you're too late. We just had the biggest bull run ever, and you're too late. You missed out. Okay, that's also bullshit because we dropped on the weekly chart. Price is dropping. Volume's dropping. That is bullish price action, right? Overall, trend is very bullish. Don't get me wrong. But on these lower time frames, we needed to correct. Not to mention on RSI and MACD, we were extremely overextended. Some of the third most overextended period in Bitcoin's history, 74,000. This RSI needed to come down in order to send price higher. Now, you know, looking objectively again, after everyone was posting charts of doom, and we had that deviated drop, and everyone was freaking out and telling you to sell and that you're an idiot for buying and all this, and don't buy this correction because it's not going to stop until we get to 45K. Like, guys, we're not going to 45K. There's nothing on the chart that's bearish that says trend reversal. Ultimately, no bearish divergences, no issues here. Volume going down, price going down. That is bullish price action. It is all in the charts, right? Look at the charts. Don't use your emotional bias. Don't go on YouTube and look at someone that's got a red alert sign on the video because all they're trying to do is get you riled up. That's all that is. So let's talk a couple other things and then we'll wrap this up. So Bitcoin's 4 hour, or really Bitcoin's daily. I tweeted this earlier. I don't know if this will play out, but I'm very interested to see if we can get this. Again, you're talking about an inverted head and shoulders. Again, you're talking about an inverted head and shoulders in a massive bull flag, right? I'm skeptical because it's a little weird looking, but it's certainly possible. So what you should be doing at this point is looking for long entries. If you have your own system and you know, you should be looking for your triggers as well. Like what is going to trigger longs? Because guys, I mean, I hate to break this for people that are bearish, but we are in a massive bull flag. I mean, it's very plain and obvious. Massive bull flag. So last week, recovered nicely. I don't have any issues with this. I didn't think we'd flush all the way down to 56. I think it's really good though, because now we've wiped out all the leverage. We've wiped out all of the not only late bulls but early bears. I guess a lot of people that were expecting us to break this range and head to 45K. Well, now we're at 63.3, 63.4. Pretty remarkable. But let's look at Ethereum to Bitcoin, and then we'll call it a day. I don't want to keep you guys forever. So the one thing I was talking about this morning was this kind of inverted head and shoulders on Ethereum to Bitcoin. Again, with Bitcoin dominance, and I'll pull up the side-by-side, with Bitcoin dominance showing trend reversal or trend exhaustion, it would not surprise me if this acted as an inverted head and shoulders. Now, again, it looks a little funky, a little weird, but you already have the confluence from this exhaustion over here. Bitcoin's king. Bitcoin's going to dictate direction, but Bitcoin's also dictating right now where that liquidity is going. That liquidity is going into alts, per my belief. I really don't have anything else to cover. I feel like I've covered anything. If you guys have any questions, let me know real quick and I'll answer them. Other than that, I did want to mention this. For those of you that are trading on Bitget, Bitget is having, and I posted this in Discord, Bitget is having a cashback for spot. So if you buy or trade, let's say you're not a futures trader, you just like to trade spot. So if you trade Bitcoin and Ethereum spot pairs on Bitget, they pay you your fees back in BGB. So all those trades you're making, you get BGB back. That's pretty cool. It goes until May 20th. Again, just kind of another incentive to trade on one of the exchanges, and you get your money back. So, pretty solid deal. Let's see. Thanks for the stream. Oh, no problem, man. I'm more than happy to do it. Please chart Filecoin. So I'll give this to you guys. I really don't look at alts that much unless it's alt season. But Filecoin, one thing I did like on the weekly is this. We have bullish divergences here. We have higher lows, and again, it looks a little funky, but we have higher lows and lower lows on RSI. That's bullish divergence. As for anything else, like trade-wise, I don't really trade alts, again, until alt season's confirmed, alt season's in. Bitcoin looks like it's exhausting. Because alt trades are kind of in and out, right? You might be in one day and out the next just because it pumped ridiculously. I'd be interested in your opinion on Cadena. I don't know what that is. I really can't give an opinion on it. And just for clarification, guys, anything you see here is what I'm invested in. Right? If you don't see it, I haven't bought it. And not that I maybe don't have a reason to buy what you guys are in, but this is what I chose, and it's not changing. Any further thoughts on Link? I think Link is stupid bullish. Link has massive bullish divergences. It's been ranging for a little while. I know there's going to be the people on Twitter that say this is a head and shoulders. This is not a head and shoulders, guys. This is a V-shaped recovery to continue moving upwards. The difference between a V-shaped recovery like this and a head and shoulders is much more horizontal, where a V-shaped recovery is much more like vertical like that. Plus, you don't even have a formation of a right shoulder, and you have bullish divergences here. So for me, I don't see, and so this would be head and shoulders, this would be V-shaped. And again, the V-shaped recovery, ultimately price goes up. With the head and shoulders, ultimately price goes down. So this would be a bearish pattern, and then the V-shaped would be a bullish pattern. And I'll touch on this a little bit more. 1 second. Let me remove this. So if you look at Links, again, a lot of people, I know they're going to say it. It's a head and shoulders. It is not. Here is what a real head and shoulders looks like. Just go to Bitcoin's one day. I'll show you two examples. Go to Bitcoin's one day. This is a head and shoulders, right? Well-defined shoulders, well-defined neckline, very horizontal, right? Very horizontal. This is very vertical. This is more horizontal. The more experience you get, the easier it is. Here's another example. Head and shoulders. Again, much more horizontal distributive. This, again, looks more like a V-shaped. What's my expectation on sand? I mean, I expect it to do well. I don't have a lot of it, but I expect it to do well. I mean, part of the reason why I bought it is it's at range lows. I mean, ultimately, I think every altcoin will do pretty well when we have alt season. My goal was just spreading it out. I mean, you never know which altcoin's going to do better, or the best, I guess. So sand, I mean, we're in the bottom range. Turn off logarithmic. I mean, we're in the bottom range. I mean, could this be a gigantic inverted head and shoulders? Possibly. Now that I'm seeing it. So hopefully it does well. Again, I mean, I don't have that much. I've got like a couple $1,000s of it. It's not even, I mean, it's like, I don't even think it's 1% of my total portfolio, but I have some just in case we get some kind of crazy gain and like move back to highs. Cause I mean, you're looking at a 20x. You put $2, $3, $4, $5,000 in that, you come out with $100,000. Yeah, I think Tau will hold. I think Tau looks solid. I actually bought $10,000 at Tau at $400 as well. So I added that to the overall collection of Tau that I got between $100 and $200. So ultimately, I think Tau will do really well. It's got, again, huge bullish divergences on the weekly. Really excited to see how it does. What's up? Yes, sir. How's it going? Glad to see you here, dude. I'm actually wrapping up the stream, but glad to see you here. All right, guys. I am going to wrap it up there. If you guys have any questions on anything, I have a free Discord. You can always at me whenever. Please don't spam me and don't do it like really late at night because I do need to sleep. But you're more than welcome to join the Discord. The link's in the description. Again, it's free. There are paid portions of the Discord where I do, live analysis and take way more questions and give trade setups and everything. Details in the Discord as well. But yeah, guys, I hope you have a great day. And always remember, be patient, use risk management.